Hello and welcome to TomiTalks TV, the place to be to build great love relationships. Today I'm going to be answering one of your questions, and it goes like this. I am in a long distance relationship. Will it work? Now, I smile because I'm speaking from experience of someone who actually maintained a long distance relationship for quite a while. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I met my husband when I was in my first year in architecture school, and he was in his final year of engineering school. Now, architecture is a very long course, so right from the start, we knew that we were looking at 7 years in that relationship before we got married, because in my family, getting married while you were in school was not even an option at all. So we knew it was going to be a long relationship. And after the first year, when I was in my first year in architecture, my husband moved to a completely different city so 6 years out of those 7 years, we were actually not together in the same city. Now, you haven't actually explained whether this is a long distance relationship where you've had time to spend together as a couple initially, or whether this is an exploratory relationship where you've not actually had any time to spend together at all, because those are two completely different scenarios. If you spend some time together in the same city, or you've had some close interaction, then you both know where you're at in that relationship, and you know the level of commitment you've got towards that relationship. But if it's a relationship where you're still getting to know the other person, then it's still rather exploratory, and you don't actually know how committed you both are to that relationship yet. Now, you need to be aware of what the risks are of long distance relationships. So first of all, there's the risk of growing emotionally distant from each other, because emotional intimacy is built upon shared experiences. So when you don't spend time together, then it's difficult for you to feel close together emotionally. Secondly, there's the risk of growing and outgrowing each other while you're apart, because we all grow and we're constantly growing day by day. And if you're not together and you don't share your experiences, then you might find that you outgrow each other. And the third risk, actually, which is a very serious one, is the risk of not actually having an authentic relationship, because it's very easy to put your best foot forward when you're always on the other end of a telephone call with someone, or when you're just writing emails or sending text messages. But when you're together in the same place, that's when you actually get to know each other's strengths and weaknesses. That's when you might have a bit of conflict and find a way to resolve it. So those are things that you miss out on when you're not together in the same city. But at the end of the day, I can tell you from experience that it can work, but the key to it is communicate, communicate, communicate. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship, and you've got to find ways to constantly communicate with that person, whether by phone or by text. Technology makes it so much easier now. There's FaceTime, there's WhatsApp, there's all sorts of things that you can use to keep constantly in communication with each other, so that there's a constant flow. So it can work, but there are challenges, and I wish you all the best in your relationship. Now, today I've got one of our viewer questions, and it goes like this. I don't know what to do. I have a friend who lives abroad. We met on Facebook and we started dating, even though we have not met in person, and it's been years now. All attempts to go and meet him have not worked out. I recently met another person here in my country, and he wants to marry me. I don't know which of the two men to marry. Please advise me. Now, it's interesting that this is something I find I'm hearing a lot more about now, long distance relationships, especially between people who have never actually met before. And obviously this has to do with, the advent of the internet and social media and all that. So you have the opportunity to meet and interact online with people whom you've never actually met with in person. But the thing is this, it can be quite challenging when you're into a relationship with somebody who you've never actually met before. So the first thing I'd like to say is this. Now, this is someone whom you say you've been dating for a number of years now. Although technically speaking, if you haven't actually met before, you cannot really say categorically that this is somebody that you really want to get married to. And that's one of the things that I always say to people who are in long distance relationships. Before you finally take this step, you've got to work in some opportunity to meet each other face to face and be certain, of the person that you're planning to get married to. Because sometimes there's a tendency, when we talk a lot on the phone, or we interact interact by chatting and all that, we think we actually know someone, but until you actually are in the same environment with that person, until you're actually able to, observe them and see the way they act or react around other people, you don't really know them for sure. So I always feel like it's risky, to get married on the basis of what you know just by talking to someone on the phone or social media, because you see, you actually get to know someone when you see them in their own environment. So I always think that that is crucial. Clearly, in this relationship, you have not had that opportunity. It looks like you've invested a number of years in this relationship now, and that opportunity to be in the same place doesn't seem to be presenting itself. I think that that is a clear indication that this relationship is not workable, because in actual fact, before you invest too much time in a relationship, you should both take a pragmatic look at the relationship and see, well, is there an opportunity for us to spend time together? Is he coming to my country? Am I going to his? If that is possible, then fine. But if it's not possible, then you've got to be pragmatic about it, because to actually get married, you need to be in the same place. So what I'm saying is this: I think the decision has been made for you as far as this relationship with this person abroad is concerned, because if you cannot be in the same place, then you cannot honestly, be planning to get married. That's the first thing. Now, the second thing, you're saying, well, I've met someone else in my country and he's interested in me. I would say that it is not necessarily a binary choice. It doesn't have to be this or that. You need to spend time in in your heart and actually pray, and don't just think, oh, well, because this person is here in my country, I'll get married to him. Do you have a conviction that this is someone that you want to get married to? Does he have the values, share the values that you have? Does he have the kind of relationship with God that you would like him to have? Do you make each other better by being together? That sort of thing. So those are the things that you need to be looking at. So there are a whole series of questions you need to ask yourself before you choose to get married to someone. So don't just marry him because it's convenient and he's in the same country with you, but ask yourself, is this really someone whom I want to be with for the rest of my life? And do I have a conviction in my heart that I should be with him? And then if you do, then please go ahead and do so. Well, I hope this has helped you. If this has helped you, then please leave me a message on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, or YouTube. And if you've got a question you would like me to answer, then head on over to TomiTalks.com/ask, and I'll answer your question next time. See you next time. Bye-bye.